So part two of this hilarious labor and delivery story, it really wasn't funny. It's funny to me now, and when we talk about it with my family, it's funny now. So if you haven't seen part one, please go to part one and watch that first, right? So I walk up front and scream, I cannot do this. I need to go now. I'm gonna have this baby on this floor. If we don't go, I might literally get my grandma on the phone, get her over here because my grandma grew up in Georgia and they delivered babies, each other's babies. I'm mad at mommy. My baby is mad at me, y'all. Okay. So my sister gets up and comes up front and was like, by the time it's about 11 o'clock, so when I left the hospital, it was about 4. And so now, no, yeah, about 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. It's about 8 o'clock. Let me put her down. It's about 8 o'clock now. And so, hey, mama, hey, mama. Okay. It's about 8 o'clock now. So my sister gets up. She was like, okay, how do you feel? And I'm like, I feel like I can't take this anymore. I could not stand up. I could not sit down. I could not get on my birthing ball. I literally got backwards on my mom's couch, leaned over the edge, the back of the couch, and rocked my hips. Then I ended up on the floor, leaned over on my birthing ball. Every contraction was killing me, and they were coming 4 minutes apart. So my mom was like, Shay, going out to the hospital again. I'm so scared because I don't want them to send you back home. And I'm like, Mom, at this point, they're not going to be able to send me home. So she's looking at me, falling asleep through every contraction, after every contraction, then waking up in horrible pain. And so I said, I just need to go somewhere. Their idea was to go to the doctor first, let my doctor check me, and then go to the hospital when the doctor told me to go. So I'm like, I don't want to ride all the way to the doctor, then ride all the way to the hospital. By then, I'll be having this baby. Literally, that's how your body feels with the contractions. Like every contraction, the baby gonna come out. So, um, they're calling the doctor and calling the doctor, calling the doctor, calling the doctor. Please tell me. Wait, I'm not even gonna jump to that yet. So I go get in the car. I'm like, I don't know who won, but we got to go. So I'm sitting in the car. I'm waiting for people to get in the car. I'm sitting in the car with the garage up, like, okay, let's go. So they get in the car and we get to the doctor's office. And the doctor's office waiting room so packed. I'm being wheeled in a wheelchair with a dress on. No underwear, mind you, because I didn't put none on from the. I ain't even had no mind frame to put no underwear back on from after I left the hospital. So I don't know what I'm doing to these people wheelchair, let alone my dress or what's between my legs. I have not had time to get in the shower because the freaking morphine. If they didn't give me morphine and they just sent me home, I swear I would have been fine. I would have. I would have been alert. I would have been able to get in the bathtub, labor in the bathtub, get redressed. So I'm feeling all kind of embarrassed. Like I'm dirty. I come on now, really. So they go up to the counter. She was like, "My sister's in labor and she needs to see her doctor." Oh, both of my doctors. Guess where they are? They're on call at the freaking hospital. So I'm at their doctor's office and they are not here. What? Why did they send me home with morphine? Please tell me that if my doctors was on call. Why didn't my doctor? So she said, "Well, let me call Katie and tell her to come down to the doctor's office." I'm like, I don't care what you do. I need to go to the hospital. So they wheel me back in front of all these people. I know these people like, how she get to go in before we get to go in? My doctor's office really have like 4 rooms. And so I'm in the wheelchair in the doctor's room, like past like sleep like this. And so Katie comes in. What are you doing here? Um, she was like, she literally like looked at my face and could tell I was in labor. You're in labor, honey. You need to go to the hospital. But let me check you while you're here. Okay, you my doctor. Let you check me. So I get up on the table, which was horrible because every step you feel, every time you move a little piece of your body, somebody touch you, your body goes into a contraction. So by now I have the shakes. So Katie checks me. Soon as she touches my body, she says, your water has broken and you are at 4 centimeters. You need to go to the hospital right now. I'm going to call them and let them know you're on the way. You know what my stupid behind said? That's how you know I was doped up. I said, well, can you please call them and tell them to have the medicine waiting for me? Like, really? Like, they're going to have the anesthesiologist waiting in my room. So I get there, and the hospital is crowded at this point now because it's daytime. It's about 11 o'clock now. So I go, they're wheeling me through the waiting area of the emergency room. And so people are looking at me stupid. They tried to send me through admissions downstairs. They wheel me in this lady's room. Has she registered yet? I literally throw up in this lady's office. And she was like, take her up, take her up. I'll send the papers up. So I literally like didn't register or anything. So as soon as I get on labor and delivery floor, they like, I guess they really knew I was coming. So they wheeled me to the room and get me in the bed. I'm looking at the nurse. I had two nurses who were pregnant. They're trying to get the IV in, which didn't bother me because I'm in so much pain. Getting the IV was the least of my worries. I'm like, please get the epidural in here. Please get the epidural in here. Baby, please tell them to come right now. Okay, honey, we're telling them to come. But you need to at least have this bag of fluids in you. So she does my epidural. She does my IV, and now she's tripping. Like, oh, I don't know. It looks blocked or it looks clogged. Let me try to get it in the other arm. So they put the IV on one hand. Then they drew blood from the other arm, and I'm laying there having contractions. My head is literally like going like this on the bed, and I'm like, oh God. So then, those nurses were just to prep me. My nurses came in. One lady came in with the wrong attitude. She really just, she was gonna get it. So she comes in. I know you're asking for epidural, but when you get it, you're gonna have to stay completely still. I'm like, ma'am, I don't care. Just get the epidural. Well, I need to check you first. And so I'm guessing the other girl with her, she's a trainee or trained or something, and that lady is her senior. So I'm like, ma'am, I just came from the doctor's office. I just got checked. I don't need you to check me and tell me what I am. It's your fault that I am here this late anyway. Well, the nurse's fault. It wasn't the same nurse, but I just said it was their fault. So my mom was like, Shay, honey, you need to let them check you. I'm like, Mom, this is what I said in front of the nurse. I'm not letting her check me because it's their fault I had to go home and I'm in so much pain right now. She is not touching me. So finally, somehow, I guess I gave in to letting her check me. The other girl checked me. How about this heifer gonna tell me, oh, I need to check behind her? Why didn't you just check me in the first place then? If I'm telling you already, I don't want you to check me. Why do I want two people to be checking me back to back? So she was like, okay, she's at 5. Once you get this bag of water, so literally the bag of water is like on drip, 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 drip. It's burning going in. That's how fast it's going in, which I appreciated. So then the anesthesiologist comes in, and I'm like, thank you, Lord. These last couple of minutes of contraction I'm finna have, I'm just like, okay, I can deal with this crap. Just get this crap in me. So he sticks me. I'm linked over. And normally I thought somebody stands in front of you and holds your arms and stuff to help you bend over and stay still while you're having contractions. They set Jamal in a chair in front of me and made me put the bed all the way over. My feet are high raised off the floor. Sit to the edge of the bed and lean over. I felt like I was gonna topple over. So I'm like, my body is tense. Just relax. How can I relax if I'm holding myself up on this bed and having contractions at the same time? So I told the nurse, I was like, can you come here, please? So I was like, can I hold you? So I literally like grabbed onto this lady like I was her boyfriend, holding her by her waist, and he ended up having to stick me all the way over again, which I didn't even care about because as soon as I got that epidural, baby, I said, I need some right now, please, sir. He even gave me a little button that I could press, which I didn't have to press it until after I got 9 centimeters. So, um, I got my epidural. My family came. It was two aunties, my two aunties, Jamal's mom, my sister, my grandma, my mom, my nephew, and my husband. And so I literally like slept my whole labor after that epidural because the morphine was already in me, but I was fighting the morphine because of the contractions. So the epidural and the morphine had me knocked out until I was about 9 centimeters. And she was like, "You have a little lip here." My doctor came in and checked me, and he was saying, "Bless you." He was like, "All right, you have a little minute. Sometimes it can take a while this lip to go away." Da 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 da. So right at the end, my baby's heart rate was like high, and I had a fever because somehow I got an infection, which was attributed to my water breaking and me being from wheelchair to wheelchair out in the open outside, and so um, I had to have antibiotics on top of my what is it called? The little test. Goodness, what is it called? That they give you to see if you need antibiotics before your baby is born. My test came out negative. Please tell me why they end up giving me the antibiotic anyway because they couldn't find the results to the test. So I had antibiotic for that, antibiotic because I had a fever, my epidural and fluids all going in me in one epidural. I mean in one IV space. And so by then I had another nurse which was she was really nice. And so I was comfortable enough to let her check me and do my catheter to empty my bladder out, which I felt nothing. And so um, I felt pressure at the end, but the pressure was not bad like people describe it to be. And so um, she came back and she was like, "Baby's heart rate is really high. I have to prep you for OR if you have not progressed to 10 centimeters." So my doctor, she ended up checking me and I was at 10, and my doctor still was not there. And so literally she was like, "Okay, well, let's do some practice pushes since you feel pressure when you feel a contraction. Let's do practice pushes." So I literally like pushed 3 times, and my baby's head was right there. She was like, "Okay, let's stop." She was like, "Because we gotta wait for him to get here." He took it had to be like 10 minutes. I waited with my baby's head right at my opening. And so she was like, "Honey, if you can't wait anymore, you have to push. You just have to push." So literally, they didn't break the bed down. They didn't do any of that because my nurse ended up delivering me. So as I'm waiting those 10 minutes, every contraction, my baby's head is coming out a little bit more. She's literally pushing herself out of me. And so I look at Jamal's face because I'm not feeling any of this. I look at Jamal's face and he starts to boo-hoo cry. And I'm like, "What?" And he was like, "She's not bald head." And I was like, "You can see that?" He was like, "Yeah." Because I thought she was going to be bald head. And so she was like, "Okay, honey, push." And I pushed 1 time and she was out. And so she was born, my little snook, 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 snook. And I was just like, "Oh, God, praise the Lord. Jesus, thank you." Because I was so tired. And so after that, he came in and he was like, "What happened?" She was like, "She had to push, and I wasn't gonna make her hold his baby, because he thought we was going to OR. Baby, no, you was not gonna cut me across my stomach. And so he ended up taking my um placenta out and stitching me up, and that was it. So that is my labor and delivery story, and I'm gonna do a week one mommy vlog for the things unexpected that has happened my first week home. And yeah, and Jemiah ended up having, she was hyperglycemic, so her sugars were low. So they ended up having to take her, and I had to leave her in the hospital for one night, which was the worst thing I ever had to do. I'm literally like being wheeled out of the hospital without my baby during the daytime, and everybody is like looking at me crazy. I literally buried my head in my shirt and was like boohoo crying and sobbing, and I was so embarrassed to wheel out of there without my baby, because I had to do that before when I had my D&C, after I had my miscarriage. So that was not the first time leaving the hospital without a baby. But the next day I was ready to go get my mama. Isn't that right, mommy? Yeah. Isn't that right? Yeah. Y'all was gonna cheer. She's up. She was yelling at me earlier on the first video. Hey, you up now? You're not cranky anymore? Look right there. Look right there. Say hi. Hi. Say hi. Hi, you two. How you doing? Say how you doing? I think she looks like me and my husband. Hi. Hi. Oh, she has the prettiest little light brown eyes you can ever see. Hi, Mama. How you doing? Say I look at Mommy. I see that. And all the pain, everything was so worth it. Everything was so worth it. For these little toes. For these little toes. And these little hands and that little face. It was all so worth it. You're worth it, Tobiah. You're worth it. Ah, you're worth it. But that was it. Thank you for watching, guys. This is my full labor and delivery story. See you later.